fix it.
USA to bowl first.
So it's Mike Mullin to get things underway. The diminutive baseball lover. In his first one-on-one match against Lassie Lintila, he won by just 5 pins. That was a real up and downer. And how does he start here? With 9. I was going to say that's a good shot, and it was, but the 10 pin didn't want to know.
Yeah, he shot those pins all around the deck like lightning. Left himself a 10 pin in the corner. Lots of rotation and lots of hook. And there you can see that 5 pin has just missed that 10 pin. He'll be looking for a spare and shooting this ball right across the lane, left to right. Takes it out, no trouble.
Yeah, no problem for the left-hander. Now, what about Phil Scammell? What can he do? The right-handed man from the south coast. He's got this thing, he puts his thumb in first. That's most bowlers that I've seen, Cass, they tend to put the fingers in first and then the thumbs, but Phil has to be different. There you go. No, he's got the fingers in there, is he? I'm not quite sure. Yes, there you go.
There you go.
How strange.
Thumb in first, fingers in last. It's something that he learned as a junior, early years, and he's stuck with it. And listen, it hasn't done him too badly. He gets a lot of rotation on that ball.
Well, after that, maybe he might want to start rethinking his grip. Isn't that just typical?
Who's he going to blame, you or me?
Well, I blame the producer for highlighting it.
Well, he's 7-10 split he's got to open up, and well, let's say it's going to be an open frame.
And it is, and the only good thing you can say about that is at least it's come right at the start of the match. You can just get it out of the way.
Hopefully can forget about it and from frame 2 start again.
Phil's had a bit of everything in this Weber Cup so far. He really is experiencing the full gamut of emotions here.
Pressure bowling at the highest level, this arena bowling for TV.
You know Mullin will be looking for a strike here off the back of that open frame. No, he does exactly the same, and frankly he deserved it as well. That ball right on the head pin, and both these fellas making a distinctly wobbly start.
Perhaps there's a conspiracy that they want to try and spare this 7-10 split, and so they both left it, and that is right heavy on the head pin. Doesn't break the pins up at all.
Well, he's going for velocity to try and get a bit of kick back, and he doesn't get it, so a couple of open frames, and you might be thinking, well, you know, these guys are world-class bowlers, how come they're leaving these frames like this? And a lot of that is down to the condition of this lane. It has a film of oil that goes down 40 feet, and then it's dry after that, and it's how that ball comes out of that oil and then bites into the dry part of the lane that really determines how it hooks and hits the pocket. And that lane condition will change, and obviously under these TV lights there's been some changing going on already, and these players will have to make an adjustment to compensate for that, and it's who can adjust the quickest that is going to get the advantage here.
Nick, well, you said that better than Simon Golding ever could. Yes, you're quite right.
Well, the adjustments go on for Phil.
Nick, as the ball comes off the oil, it hits a dry patch of the lane and then starts to hook. But unfortunately, the ball also carries some of that lane conditioner oil down towards the pins, and you don't get a neat reaction. It doesn't break as the bowlers expect it to, and it's called a breaking down of the condition.
And if you don't get this one quite right, you sometimes leave the 10 pin standing. Phil will be relieved at that. Both these players fighting the lane a little bit.
Yeah, well, the heat from the television lights above the lane obviously makes a difference. The evaporation of the lane oil, it becomes a bit patchy, and so you're not quite sure how the ball will react. It's like a very fast golf green or a very slow golf green. You've got to learn to read it.
Well, 7 pin stays up. I thought for a second you were going to get all technical on me there and start talking about the viscosity of the oil and all those things that just make me wonder what's going on. And there's one of those lights that's drying out that oil. There's a lot of them down this lane.
Were you talking about the coefficient of friction as well?
I knew that would come up.
Yeah, I'm afraid I haven't got time to go into the depths of that technicality.
But we know you could. Here's the lefty going for that 7-pin and making it look very easy. That could be tricky for the left-handers, but it's a safe spare for Mike. Well, they're both still slogging away on this lane. We await the first strike.
Well, we know it will come, but we don't know who's going to get it. That's the thing we're going to be betting on.
We also know both these players eminently capable of stringing 6, 7, 8 strikes together effortlessly.
Well, they've had numerous 300 games between them. They've both got very high league averages. Just seems to be suffering a bit tonight.
There he's in the pocket, and he gets the break. Gets the little kiss on the 10, and a strike at last.
Yeah, it's a nice pocket shot hit. There it is, and just trips the 10-pin out at the last minute. A change of luck for Phil.
Yes.
There you go. That's
He deserved it with that pocket hit, didn't he?
Oh, he liked it, yes.
Yes, have some of that. And I wonder if that's going to inspire Mullin to follow suit. Yes, it does. And that was a very emphatic strike from the American.
Nick, it sounds as though you've started something here. They're both on a roll.
Yes, but can they keep it going? That's the key.
Well, that's right, yeah. Now they will both be looking for a double. Phil slightly fortunate with his strike. Just trip that 10-pin out. Let's see if he can get it this time flush right in the 1-3 pocket. He'll be looking down the lane at his break point, which is about 38 or 40 feet down the lane. That's where he'll be concentrating on. Needs to get his ball into the zone and allow it to rip back.
Dear, oh dear. He's a little bit fortunate, I think, to say the least. I thought he was going to get stuck with the same situation once again.
Yeah, he was 7-10'd up there, I'm afraid. Very fortunate the 10-pin went over. And he just made the head pin.
Oof.
And that 10-pin, as you saw, just kicked out. But the 7's still there, so it can only be a spare if he makes it.
We spoke too soon about the strikes. Now that's not the lane or anything else, and Phil knows it.
Yeah, no, there was a huge groan that Phil let out. As soon as that came out of his hand, he's pulled his shoulder and arm to the left, and it's just dropped in the gutter. I mean, that's really unfortunate. It really is a bad shot, and he knows it. Look at that.
Welcome back to the Mega Ball Weber Cup. The USA lead the tie 4-3 overall, and we're into the 7th frame of the match between Mullin and Scammell.
Phil is in big trouble now.
Yeah, he's way down. He's only got 4 frames to go and really struggling. And of course, it becomes psychological as well. You realise he's had some open frames, 3 of them, in fact.
Mullin, well, he's just blown an opportunity to really twist the knife. He's not exactly, apart from that double, he hasn't had the most sparkling game of his career either.
No, that's right, but he's not having to do too much to outshoot Phil at the moment, I'm afraid.
Don't think either of these boys are going to want to see the video of this one, are they?
Don't think so, no. Phil's 30 pins adrift now. Mike with a 9-pin to spare, and
I'm not quite sure what the problem is here. There's obviously something bugging him.
yeah, no, maybe we've got a machine malfunction.
Yes, there's a bit of movement going on down there. The 1 pin is set up.
Didn't they used to have little boys down the back? They used to
They
stand
used
these
to.
pins up.
Back in the old Victorian days, before my time.
I understand it was back in the 50s they were still around before this automatic pin spotter came into being.
Well, the delay didn't affect him.
No, nice spare for Mike Mullin.
They should go back to that, shouldn't they?
What, little boys
So
down the
some
back?
little kids running around standing the pins up. That'd be kind of fun.
I don't think I can really make any comment, actually, Nick.
Well, I don't think fun is quite the word you'd use to describe what Phil Scammell is experiencing at the moment.
No, you can tell by the look on his face. He's, as we say, not a happy bunny.
Well, it's not too late for him. Mullen has given him a chance with all these spares, but he's got to strike out from here really to have any chance at all, Phil. Well, he gets one.
He gets one, but it certainly wasn't the best pocket shot he's ever played. It was a little bit thin. He got the reaction, the pins cascaded around, and he was fortunate to get 10 there. So yeah, very light, but mixed them up.
Mike Mullin still with that 22 pin advantage. Whenever Phil has had a strike, he seems to have come back with one himself. Now let's see if Scammell inspires Mullin to another strike. And sure enough.
Yeah, I think Mike changed his ball there and played a different angle into the pocket. We'll have a look at that again on the slow motion. Yeah, he's moved right onto the approach. He's got a different ball. He's sort of flipped it out there a bit, and of course here it comes roaring back. A good strike.
And that, I suspect, might be it for Phil, unless Mullin really has a late collapse. There's still a bit of time, but
yeah, he's
got a strike, hasn't he?
Oh, Phil needs the double here, yeah, without a doubt. And unfortunately, he's not locked into a nice zone at all. Oh, that helps. 2 strikes in a row. That was a much better shot.
Well, he's doing the right thing, isn't he? He's just hanging around there and hoping that Mullin lets him back in.
Well, it makes you wonder where he's been for the first 5 or 6 frames. Yeah, it's a good ball reaction and good pin action as well.
So just still within touching distance, but he needs Mullin to give him a break.
A 22-pin lead.
Mullin is not in a generous mood.
Oh, great shot. Really was good. Right in the sweet spot, the 1-2 pocket for the left-hander. Get some good length down the lane. Loads of reaction with the ball and those pins stand no chance. Phil just taking a deep breath before he lines himself up. He knows what he's got to do here. He's working on 2 strikes. He definitely needs another one. And he's a natural strike maker, and I really can't understand where he's been this game.
I'm sure he can't. It'll be interesting to talk to him afterwards, although I think I might leave that to you.
Well, I hope he's in the bar at the time.
Well, he's making it look easy now, Phil.
Well, as I say, he's a natural strike maker, and one wonders where he's been for the last few frames. They were 3 nice strikes he's got there, which brings him right back into this match.
Yeah, at least he's asking the question of his opponent.
Yeah, deficit down to 20 odd pins now.
But it's Mullin's game to lose. All he's got to do is just keep pace, keep his nerve, avoid the silly mistake, and the American will be home free. He's got a double, and he's in there like swimwear.
3 strikes in a row, beautiful turkey. Nice phrase, Nick. Yeah, it's all smiles for Mike Mullin. Good strike, nice strike. Keeps himself in the lead. 3 strikes in a row to go into frame 10. Earns himself 2 bonus balls.
Something about the Weber Cup does bring out the best of this fella. He won his first match, singles. He's going to win his second here. He has an overall record, as he just leaves the 7-pin there, of 8 wins and 4 losses from his previous 2 Weber Cup campaigns. So he's going to be up to 10-4 with the victory here. He thrives on this.
Yeah, he's through the 200 barrier. Spare here will give him 214, which it does. Takes it away nicely.
Phil can't touch it.
Now he's shut out, I'm afraid.
So the last rites for Phil Scammell, who'll really be kicking himself over those open frames where he just couldn't seem to work this lane out at all. Look how easy he's making it now, but it's the horse had already left the stable.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate if he goes right the way out here with 3 strikes. He's only 203, which is not enough. And as you say, Nick, those open frames early on in the game absolutely killed it for Team Europe. Just bowling for a bit of pride now.
Look at this, he's clocking them up, isn't he? What's that, 5 in a row? So he's going to finish with a respectable enough score when it was looking pretty disastrous at the halfway point, but it's still not going to be enough. And the frustration for Phil is he knows he's capable of so much more than that.
Yeah, that first half of the game absolutely lost it for him. Still, it's good for him to finish on strikes. It will give him some confidence when he's next up on the lane. And he's just showing the crowds that he does know how to strike.
He certainly does. He breaks the 200 barrier, but the damage was done long before that. Too many open frames from Phil Scammell. It's Mike Mullin, the American, who wins it by 11 pins, and in this race to 18, Team USA has now opened up a little bit of a gap. It's 5-3.